Hey guys, this is Dan with Gears and Gadgets. Thanks for tuning in. I'm back with another video a day till this channel hits 100K. I watched this video the other day and I thought, man, I really need to do a reaction video to this. This is Big Time. If you're unfamiliar, Big Time is a separate spin-off, or not spin-off, but actually a separate channel that was created by Jeremiah and Job from Donut Media. Huge automotive YouTube channel. Big Time has been around for a year now, and they are at 1.72 million subscribers, which is insane. I've found it very interesting. I know there's a bunch of guys from Hoonigan that also spun off and created their own channels. And a lot of these guys, just because they came from a giant mammoth channel, spin off to their own, and there's a lot of push behind them to succeed. So a lot of these channels explode to well over 100,000 subscribers almost overnight. Still requires a bunch of work. These guys, there's a lot of risk associated with it. So kudos to Big Time for getting to 1.72 million in a year. That's insane and super awesome. But there's a lot of things I want to, we'll jump into the video.
Today's our first birthday, and over the last year and 30 some odd videos, well, we've learned a thing or two.
Yeah, we've learned what to do. We've learned what not to do, and we've somehow managed to not go bankrupt.
In a year, they've done 30 videos. I've been on a video a day rip for pushing 70 days now. So contextually, it's funny to hear these guys talk.
That's right. So today we're going to share some of our successes, some of our failures, things we've learned along the way. And while we do it, we're going to look at every car we've worked on this year.
If you've ever wanted to be an automotive YouTuber, this is the video for you. Welcome to Big Time. Coming
from people who had very rapid success. So this is not advice that necessarily, actually a lot of it does make sense, but I'm going to skip some of the car stuff and just go straight to their YouTube stuff. But I'm going to link this video in the description down below. Go watch it. It's actually a pretty good watch.
In working on this car was one of the first times we kind of bumped into a realization, a reality that we knew was coming. And that is that making YouTube videos about cars takes a lot of work from a lot of people. And we've only got 6.
Yeah, we went from a crew of 30, 40 people at Donut, each person with a very specific job, to 6 people having to juggle multiple positions all at once. And when you do that, it takes a lot of time to get things finished.
Yeah,
They went from a crew of 30 down to a crew of 6. Now, I can understand being them, that sucks. That adds a lot more work to your plate. I, however, am a crew of 1. So when they talk like this, it's like, I can only imagine having 6 people to juggle everything that goes into running the YouTube channel on my side. And I'm not hating on the success. Again, they need those people, especially being a channel of 1.72 million subscribers. There's a lot more at stake. Every time they hit publish on a video, there's a lot more riding on it. When you have 6 people, that's 6 salaries. That's a lot of people to support. I don't have any of that, and it might sound like I'm kind of crapping on their success. I am not, but I am kind of laughing at the fact that just imagine not having 6 and only having 1.
Already takes extra time to film working on cars. Say you're going to do something on a car that would normally take you 5 hours. If you want to film it and make a video about it, you might as well double or even triple that amount of time. And that's not even taking into account the editing. So there's a ton of time that goes into this stuff.
And we'll get into it more a little bit later, but
I think
what we were very good at our time at Donut was the creative part of it. And we've had to juggle a bunch of different things to where we don't have to focus on that solely, which is tough. At Donut, there was one person, we had just directors, just producers, just editors, single focused jobs that made our lives a lot easier to go off and be creative. And now we don't get to do that. We got to, I'm doing sales.
The salesman.
I'm the salesman.
Guess what? I'm also the salesman. So it's just funny to kind of hear this context from these channels, that hearing these guys talk like this is just like, you have 6 people? I can only imagine.
I don't like doing sales, but we got to do it because we got to pay the bills. So there's the creative side of thing, and then there's the business side of thing, and then there's the having 2 jobs side of thing. When we first started this, we were still at Donut. We did 14 weeks straight on Big Time making videos while having to tackle on other videos. It was
14 weeks. I did it for 8 years, 2 jobs, basically one, not even being in the creative space. So imagine running multiple very just chaotic, busy construction jobs, and then also trying to come home and turn on your creative brain. At least for them, they got to live in that creative space for while they were doing both jobs, and probably had a chance while they were doing that to go, hey, that's a good idea. Let's cover that on Big Time. Let's save this idea. Let's bank that idea. A lot of other people are out there juggling two jobs, one as a necessity to keep their life afloat, which is not in the creative space, and trying to hack away at the YouTube space.
It was a lot of work. It almost killed us, I think.
So suffice it to say, there's a lot more that goes into making these videos than just working on cars. The number one thing that we learned is, we already knew, that now we know again is...
You need a team.
That's right.
We got the best team. Yeah, boys. Yeah, big time team.
You don't need a team to be in YouTube. Listening to that advice, I understand, again, you need a team if you're going to be a 1.72 million subscriber channel in the matter of a year. Yes, you need a team. But if you're hacking away one video at a time, you don't need a team. You can do this stuff on your own.
Come on, put it in there. If you're going to be successful in this business, you got to take your risk. No risk, no reward. Which seems so cliche, and nothing that I honestly thought would be like something we would implement so soon.
That is really true. Anybody who's followed my channel long enough knows that I've put a lot of money into this channel, not just in camera gear, but also, you know, buying trucks and motorcycles. A lot of this stuff, would I have bought it if I didn't have the YouTube channel? Some of it, certainly not all of it. And the YouTube channel gives, it's like an outlet for creativity. So buying a motorcycle, you get in this creative space about what can I do with the bike? When you buy a new truck, how can I modify this? What can I do? What kind of content can I create? You're basically always looking for, like, as a YouTube content creator, you're looking for the blank canvas. And unfortunately, when you fill up a canvas, you need another canvas. And in the YouTube space, especially automotive, motorcycles, power sports, stuff gets really expensive. And it's just, you got to take risks. Definitely have to take risks. Almost every single risk that I've taken with this channel has paid off to some degree.
We just happened to see this truck, and it's goofy enough and fun enough. And, you know, I think like our content does the best when we put ourselves in situations where we have no business being.
Yeah, this is one of them.
And this is like the just epitome of that sentence.
Yeah.
And I think one of the big lessons we've learned over the past year is how good your videos have to be for them to actually make any money.
Yeah.
Now, if you guys don't know, YouTube uses an auction-based ad system. So ultimately what happens is...
They get really inside baseball here with a lot of the numbers and everything, but you don't necessarily have to make a really good YouTube video. And I think that a lot of these guys who come from like these larger media organizations get so wrapped up in like the edit and screen overlays and graphics and all kinds of stuff. Yes, for them it works, but you don't necessarily have to have all of that. You can do a lot with a little. The whole idea is that you want to make videos. When you make a video, you need to make it thinking like, what's the value to the person who's watching it? There has to be some sort of tangible value to the person that's watching. You don't need fire in the background and fancy transitions and all that stuff. You just need to make a video that somebody in the world might hang on to and say, hey, that really helped me out. And you can make videos having fun. Most of the time, those videos that you're making fun, like when I went out and raced around a Porsche GT4 RS, that was an event that Kumo had flown me out for. I had a great time. But what was the real value? What was the driver for the people watching that video? I'm still bummed that it didn't do well because I had a blast. But again, like what... That's a hard video to make somebody else want to watch.
We can't really just focus on YouTube ad revenue. We have to have sponsors. And luckily we've had some of the best sponsors that have supported us. I talked about it before, but our mentors, Mighty Car Mods, told us before we started, only work with people that you actually endorse and use, and it'll make your life a lot simpler. For being such a young company, I've worked with some crazy sponsors. Red Bull, Ford, WD-40, 303 Car Care. I mean, there's been so many people that have helped us out.
And that's where it does get frustrating as somebody on my side. It's like that only comes from the notoriety that they brought with them from Donut and the large following they gained rather quickly. Channels my size, we don't have Ford knocking down. Anytime I post like a positive GM video on my truck, or when I posted positive Ford videos, the number of comments you get of people who are like, oh, they're paying you. It's like, man, if the money was that easy, everybody would be doing it. It is not. Nobody's knocking down your door with checks. But when you have these larger channels, they maybe are. So anytime I hear these larger channels say things like that, or I've actually had some other larger channels I've been at press events with, and they ask questions like, like, oh, why would you do affiliate sales? Like, we just get, companies just write us checks. And it's like, well, yeah, that's because it's basically like, it's like the hot chick thing where they would look at you and go like, you pay for your coffee? Why would you pay for your coffee? Because no one's buying it for me. You know, like, I don't go to the bar and get to drink for free all night long. So like this, like a lot of these channels have this like hot girl syndrome of like, oh yeah, this is how we do it. So like, why aren't you doing it that way? I've had that same thing with like, why are you not having somebody edit your videos? Why are you not having somebody like you don't have a producer? You don't like, who does all your set? Like, it's so funny to me to hear those things. And you get it when you're exposed to these larger channels who have not had to pull up their muck boots and trudge through the crap because they kind of bypassed a lot of that stuff really, really early on. It's kind of what's happening here when they talk about these large sponsors, but
ECS has given us all these parts on the cars.
I agree
Apex
with
Wheels
this.
has given us wheels. We got to have that help to make sure that the channel runs. So just so you know, YouTube will take about...
And they talk about how, you know, you want to make sure that the companies you're partnering with, you don't sell out. And that's a huge thing for me. Like, Real Truck has supported this channel for a really long time. And I'm lucky to have them on board, but I don't overdo it either. I don't want every single video on my channel being realtruck.com videos, because then at some point it just comes out like you just sold out to a giant brand or whatever. But I do a lot of stuff with them, and it's a fantastic relationship. You do need sponsors to, again, create more canvas and give you things to film videos.
Half of what you're earning on the ad side. So you got to make up for it. Luckily, we've been able to build up a following and a fan base that we can ask people like that to help us out, and they do. So use your influence when you got it. But don't sell out like a
That's a super insightful thing, is use your influence. I hate the term influencer. I cannot stand it, actually. It drives me nuts. But when you start growing a following, you realize like, oh, I am influencing. But you want to use that influence in a non-sellout kind of way. There's some brands out there, I won't mention the names, but there's some brands that have gone really heavy into marketing on social media, and some influencers took the bait and took the money, and the brand ended up being less than stellar, and it demolished their brand name. And I think it's very critical to realize that you're using your influence, but you sure as hell better stand behind every single thing that you've ever promoted. Your brand is more important than theirs. And that's something that I think in this influencer space, when I watch TikTok videos and it's people are just going like, I don't know, pick up any single widget, and they just go like, oh, this is a brand new aluminum can, TikTok shop, you can buy. That kind of stuff has no value to anybody, and it tarnishes your brand.
know, don't sell out.
Don't sell out.
Doing this, you kind of become a jack of all trades, but a master of none. The thing I was very good at Donut, I haven't been doing too much.
And I'm just going to wrap it as that. Like, it is truly a jack of all trades, master of none. But you do start to get pretty decent at all of it over time, but you need to be willing to go through a lot of those steps, and there's a lot of them. Creating YouTube videos as a hobby is always like the most noble of ways to start a YouTube channel, but as you start growing it, there's not a lot of people out there that can genuinely say after they've hit 100,000 subscribers that just go like, hey, I'm just doing this because I'm having a really good time. Most of them at some point go like, hey, this is making me some money. You can have a good time. You can start a pizza place, love pizza, and then still want to sell more pizzas to benefit your hobby or interests. It's no different than any other business. And there's a lot of other people out there who will like to give that advice of do it as a hobby, and if you start doing it as a business, like you're doing something wrong. And I totally disagree with that. Those are typically YouTube channels that have grown to, I don't know, 10,000, 20,000 subscribers and kind of stall, and then try to, I guess, confirmation bias their way into like where they're at that current point. But I think at those points, it's actually time to double down and really get into it and start trying to do more. And am I ever going to get to 1.72 million subscribers? Hopefully one day, maybe. But the overall takeaway from this big time video, first of all, congratulations to those guys. They're killing it. And it's not by accident. They are very good at what they do, but a lot of the stuff, they bypassed a lot of the really difficult steps of having to do it making almost no money and running a full-time second job. They sort of accelerated that a little bit, and now they're talking about like having a team. You don't need a team, you can do it on your own. There's a lot of value in building your own YouTube channel, building your own brand, outside of your full-time job, being authentically yourself. That is one thing that on this video a day till I hit 100K journey that I've been on is authenticity. The ability to turn on a camera every single day and not have to like big time think about all of the stuff that I'm doing and how it affects the brand. I'm just authentically being myself and letting the channel grow organically, and that will build my value. So again, congratulations to Jeremiah and Job. You guys are crushing it. I'm super happy to see it. I just wanted to provide a little more context from somebody who's doing it maybe the more traditional, difficult way. Not saying that their journey is not difficult. It's difficult for everybody, but it also has a lot of upside and reward to it. Building a YouTube channel is a lot of work. I'm probably working, I know I'm working way harder than I ever did in any full-time job that I've ever had before. So with that said, thank you guys very much for tuning in. I just wanted to provide a little bit of context from a smaller, more, I don't know, bootstrapped channel, I suppose you'd say. And with that, I appreciate you guys tuning in. If this is your first time tuning in, please hit that subscribe button down below. Remember, likes go a long way to help support the channel, and I will see you guys next time.